Ghosts and ghouls, demons and aliens, monsters and worse. Only here on Ghost or What, the best channel for original scary stories. Our next story is Escaping the Family's Farm. It's not uncommon that in a group of friends, everyone can come from different walks of life. Some of them have devoted their lives to their studies. Others live day by day through their hard work. They can be found in academies or working in gardens and still love each other equally. No matter how different friends are from each other, the love is the same. But it can be much, much darker than that. Sometimes, it's not just love that links a group of people together, and utter terror. No matter where they come from, or where they go, there's a group of friends that live tortured by the nightmares they experienced by themselves. This is the case of Carter Stewart, a young man that inherited a small fortune and a great farm from his great-grandfather. At first, this might sound like a heavenly dream, but turns out it is anything but such. This is a nightmare. This is Carter's greatest fear come to life. There are a couple of problems with Carter's story. First, he hated the farm. His family moved away from the countryside years ago. He was a man of the city, not apt for life on a farm. Second, his great-grandfather lived only long enough to see him as a little boy, and never really liked him very much, because he thought Carter was spoiled and too sensitive. Third, Carter didn't really inherit the farm righteously. There were a series of issues and misunderstandings with the old man's will that lasted many years, along with a few of his children outright rejecting the inheritance of the farm. Carter had no idea why his aunts and uncles detested the farm, but when it fell on his lap almost 20 years later, he accepted it with a smile on his face. He would sell it as soon as humanly possible. After all, Carter was too innocent. He didn't ask the right questions, and he didn't stop to wonder what horrible things could be keeping his family away from the old farm. Carter was pressured by his parents to at least take a look at the farm before selling it. Who knew? Maybe he would fall in love with the lifestyle and keep the farm. The young man didn't agree, but he felt like it was the right thing to at least stay for a weekend at the family farm before giving it up forever. Maybe it was because his intentions of selling were clear from the beginning, or maybe his great-grandfather really spent the last years of his life talking about how awful his great-grandson was. The point was that every person working at the farm seemed to hate Carter. Nobody wanted him there. They wanted him to leave as soon as possible. This fact bothered Carter, and just out of spite, he wanted to prove that if he wanted to, which he didn't, he could take care of his own farm. So, on the second day, Carter woke up extremely early, before the sun rose on the horizon, and prepared for a day of hard labor at his farm. He should have known from the start how bad this idea was. Not because he didn't sleep enough, but because he wasn't safe in that place while it was still dark. Everything started as soon as he stepped out of the big house. He had to turn on a flashlight, and that's when he saw the fresh footsteps on the mud. He cursed his bad luck for having an intruder on his first night at the farm, and then followed the trail toward the stables, where he didn't manage to get in. The entry was blocked by a horse, the biggest, tallest, most muscular black horse that Carter had ever seen. The horse was simply standing there, staring at him with pitch-black eyes, and it was enough to make Carter want to run away. He should have run away, but it was only his second day at the farm. Carter didn't even know that horse wasn't one of his. Carter walked away toward the chickens, but found an incredibly strange sight. All the chickens were cowering in one corner. while all their eggs lay splattered on the ground, with their contents all rotten. That was disgusting and unsettling, but Carter was quickly distracted. The young man noticed a shadow, and he ran toward it. But when he reached the spot, even though the shadow was gone, the consequences weren't. The shadow had been standing near the pigs, and now all those poor animals were running around terrified, making loud and desperate noises as if they were butchered right there and then. Carter didn't understand, and he couldn't calm them down, but then he heard footsteps behind him and turned around quickly. Again, there was nothing there. Carter's heart started beating louder and louder, and he started to sweat. He prayed the sun would rise soon, because the darkness was making him see things. In fact, he was staring directly at an ominous shadow standing by the stables. Carter did his best to gather all his courage. This was his farm, damn it, and he would protect it. So he grabbed a heavy wooden stick and started walking toward the shadow, slowly, confidently. And then, all at once, he ran toward the corner, and then, nothing. The shadow had disappeared almost right in front of his eyes. Carter lost his patience. "Who are you?" he yelled. "Get out of my farm!" That was a grave mistake. All at once, Carter got goosebumps. He felt someone breathing right behind him, and someone whispered next to his ear, "No, son, this farm isn't yours. It's mine, forever." Carter screamed and turned around, swinging his makeshift weapon, but there was nobody there. Nobody but the horse. The tall and intimidating horse. But it had changed. His eyes weren't pitch black anymore. They were burning red, just like the trail of blood falling from its huge mouth. Carter could easily picture his head being smashed by those powerful jaws, and he didn't want to find out how it felt. Carter started running and running, as fast as he could. But he could hear footsteps behind him. He turned around just once, and he swore he saw a man riding that terrible horse, and frowning at him, just like his great-grandfather used to do. Carter kept running and screaming. He could see his house in the close distance, and he could see the sun starting to rise. But what if the horse reached him first? What if he had to pay for the sins of his entire family? Was he never going to see his chosen family, his best friends, ever again? Did you think that was the end? The terror never ends. Subscribe to our channel to hear more horror stories, only on Ghost or What.